I thought we were done with this. Hmm. Yes, I am. I'm alright. Hello. Make sure to share one thing. How are we? We are okay. Well, I'm dealing with a situation right now. I'm waiting for. Hey, Skillet. Hey, brokenhearted. Where are you, sis? Waiting for somebody else to come in. That's all I'm waiting for. Oh, I know you're here. Just waiting for Amanda to come on in. There you are. Okay, that is a moderator, of course. Let's see. How do I add somebody in this damn thing? She's in there already. Are you going to add her? Yes. Sis, go live on your thing and then we'll get started. Um, Still it says, how you feeling? Horrible. There it goes. All right, she's popping in. All right. All right, guys. Hello, everybody. I am Jay. Sorry for the wait. And this is my sister. Introduce yourself, sis.
Um, Kusanagi Goddess or Amanda.
All right. So today we are talking with her because she has a little situation here, and we need to talk about this because this is fucking sick. And trigger warning: this live is not going to be for your faint-hearted. It's still going to talk about child abuse. We're going to talk about abuse in general. So, viewer discretion is advised on this. So, sis, you want to start off with your story?
Should I start about how I met my ex through Discord? We ended up getting married. Everything was fine. And that's when the home wrecker came in.
Oh yeah, start from the beginning, sis.
All right. Well, I met my ex through a Discord call, group of friends, yada yada. I was the one that asked him out. January 20th.
Hmm.
You would think it would be a red flag for me when he asked me to marry him about 4 to 6 months into the relationship.
Hmm.
But I was younger and I was naive and I was dumb. COVID hit. We had to keep pushing the wedding back. Finally was able to get married. He moved and we had to move into my mom's because he had no job and I couldn't financially support all of us by ourselves in the trailer. My mom had a specific rule. Since I was the one making bread, well, you know what making bread is, making money, he was supposed to be the housewife type deal, clean and cook. He did a half-assed job. He barely cooked. He like made me will do the dishes. He told my mom that, oh well, this is not my mess, that's Amanda's mess.
That's messed up. So from that point on, what what went from going up on top of the hill, living with your husband, then what started going from going all the way down?
Well, I've been trolled by Don't Like It Too Bad. At the time, I didn't realize who it was, nor did I ever thought that it'd be him. I got found out I was pregnant in November, as you know, I told y'all in DMs, and I was so
Mhm.
excited and all of that. And then on New Year's Eve, I was upset because I ended up having a miscarriage.
Hold on,
The
sis. Hold on.
troll.
Hold on,
Okay.
sis. Skillet. No, we can't add you in. This is just between me and Amanda. She's telling her story right now. Go ahead, sis. Sorry about
No, you're fine. You know, my miscarriage happened. I was very hurt. I was upset. And I was blaming myself, even though I knew I had nothing to do with it. It happens.
that. Mhm.
My mom says that it was God's way of saying that something's not right.
Yeah.
That's when I started to know a little bit of change in Thomas, but I thought maybe it was because, he too was upset at the fact that I miscarried our baby. Well, April comes, and that's when Shauna came into the picture. We had our fallout, and when she went to go be with two people or whatever the case is, I honestly at that point I really didn't even give a shit. She made a walnut video on me. I clapped back at her, and then a couple of days later, she comes and was apologizing. She's the one that altercated screenshots to make it seem that Brad was the one that was behind the troll accounts
Hmm.
when it wasn't him at all. And what kills me is that Thomas thinks just because she showed him her address on a video call, that means she was trustworthy.
Hmm.
Hi, Brad. So she faked screenshots saying that it was Brad,
Hmm.
and it really did look damn near convincing. But in the back of my mind, I knew it wasn't him because this is Brad we're talking about. Brad wouldn't do that.
Exactly. Oh,
So,
I got another one.
everybody started pointing fingers, going against each other. And then I noticed that Thomas starting to become distant with me. And I
Mhm.
was just like, okay. June, my daughter turns 11.
Mhm. And for some people will ask before anybody asks, we're not going to disclaim the name of Amanda's child because that's her right, and we're not going to discuss that the name right now. So go ahead, sis.
So it was my daughter's 11th birthday party, and we went to Leaky Tiki. I don't mind disclosing that because it's a resort. Like, you could just look it up. I can't stop anyone from going there. It's a beautiful resort. I recommend it.
Oh wow.
Um, and it was supposed to be me, him, my daughter, my
Mhm.
aunt, my uncle, and my cousins. It was all supposed to be by my mom, but my mom got sick, so she ended up staying home.
Mhm.
And the whole time that we were in the resort, Thomas was so busy worrying about his phone, and Shauna kept, oh, I need a 42, 42, 42, 42. Like, it was supposed to be family time and celebrating my daughter's birthday, and he
Mhm.
completely ignored that fact. And then he tried to act like I was so dumb that like, as if I was crazy, that I was seeing things. Like, I had my own uncle asking me, whoa, like, what's going on? Why is he always in the bedroom with the door closed? Why is he on the balcony with the door closed when it's your daughter's birthday?
Mhm.
And
So and then from there, from the resort and everything, like, so what else has been like from that part of the resort and everything? What made you suspicious about him acting weird and stuff? What pushed you to a limit, sis? I want to know that.
what really got me suspicious that something wasn't right was when I had his phone and I've accidentally dropped his phone, and I did not realize it was on Shauna's DMs, and I did not wanted to read it. But you can't help it when you're picking it up to be like, realize that he's telling her something along those lines. I don't remember word from word, but it was more like, I can't wait to marry you or some shit like that.
What the hell? So okay, so after that result and everything, did you have your suspicions that oh my god, like what that was a red flag? And did you even notice that red flag before you even on with this fucking relationship? Or
I don't even think she cares at all. To be honest with you, I think she's just the type of person that'll date and be with someone for 8 years, leave them, and then say, okay, which couple are taken, and they're very happy, so I can destroy their happiness and steal their man.
what?
And we were a big talk on TikTok. Everybody was idolizing us because we broke the distance. It was
Mm-hmm.
such a love story that we broke the distance, and like, she'd done what she did. So
Mm-hmm.
July comes, and she came on the 19th,
Mm-hmm.
and she was supposed to stay for 10 days. She ended up leaving on the 6th day. So we celebrated my birthday on my birthday,
Mm-hmm.
and then on the next day, Thomas comes out of nowhere saying that I don't want to be with you. This, that, and the third. Naturally, I'm upset. I'm hysterical. He decided to film me without consent, which is what the video that he was trying to show everyone, where I was screaming and crying in my car and I was on the phone with
Mm-hmm.
my mom.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was upset. And he's trying to pass the narrative that I want to hit him. That's not what I was trying to do. I went to go hit the phone out of his hand because I did not give him permission to record me.
Of course.
So then when I reversed, Shauna was already in front of Chase Bank because Thomas was trying to run into traffic.
Hmm.
And I felt a boom boom. And then I realized when I looked that it was Thomas's laptop bag. And Shauna is trying to pass the narrative that I hit her with my car.
But that wasn't the
But I
case,
didn't.
right?
Nope, I never hit her with my car. She wasn't even by my car. The only thing I hit, and I could openly admit that I hit, was his laptop.
Hmm. So at this point, what was you furious with the guy that you supposedly love and everything? Um, like, and how many years were you with him before you even got a chance to even got married or anything like that? At the point that like, oh, okay, I'm gonna be in love with this guy. I'm gonna be okay with this guy. I know he's gonna accept me for who I am. Did you ever thought about like, oh my God, he's gonna be fucking up? You had that feeling in your gut that he was gonna fuck up.
Honestly, I had no idea he was gonna do this at all
Mm-hmm.
because he was different back then. He was very, well, at the time, sweet and kind and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But, I found stuff out and it turns out that I was very much wrong about him.
Mm-hmm.
So on the 26th, I went to go pick him up from the hotel
Mm-hmm.
and my phone buzzed off for notification. So, I'm ignoring my phone because I have to drive. I'm
Mm-hmm.
driving. He went and took my phone and was starting to block everybody off of my Facebook friends list. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling him, give me back my phone. And he wouldn't. The phone dropped. I'm not going to bend down to pick it up because then my eyes are off the road. And then he started to try to jump out of a moving vehicle. So I'm grabbing his shirt like this to keep him from jumping, and he's
Mm-hmm.
screaming assault as if I was hitting him. Then finally, when I pulled over, I called 911 because I was going to have him on a 72-hour psych hold.
Mm-hmm.
Because, who in the right mind would jump out of a moving vehicle?
Somebody who is not in the right mind and somebody who like needs help physically and mentally need help.
Yeah. So he got mad that I called and he flung his phone. The phone bounced off of the dashboard and it busted him on the bottom lip.
Hmm.
And then when the cops showed up, he lied to the police, stating that I assaulted him, that I caused the busted lip, and he pressed charges, though he it's been to this day lies to me saying that I never wanted you arrested, I didn't press charges. And funnily enough, here's Shauna saying, yeah, I could vouch for that. I was on the VC. He never
Hmm.
wanted you to get arrested.
And see, and and at that point, sis, in that point that you were dealing with all that shit, did you realize that, oh my God, what the fuck did I get myself into, or had that second thought?
You would think that that should have been an eye opener and be done with it. You would think. But because
Hmm.
I was so in love with him, I was blinded and they just continuously manipulated. So
Uh,
in August, and this is towards the end,
hmm.
my mom wanted the air conditioner unit out of the bedroom window
Okay.
because Thomas was having it run all day, all night with no rest, and it was raising up the electric bill.
Hmm.
And I have no problem. I had no problems with my mom taking the AC unit out of the window because this is her house.
Hmm.
He shoved my mom to get to the AC unit to keep her from taking it out, and then
Hmm.
started screaming Shauna, call it in, call it in. She touched me. We had Orange County Police Department here, and I was freaking out because at that point I was still on probation. So I'm like, great,
Mhm.
I'm gonna go back to jail
Mhm.
for yet another thing I had nothing to do with.
Yeah.
So I quickly messaged my probation officer to let her know, hey, the cops are coming to my house. It's not has nothing to do with me. It's between my husband and my mom. Had nothing to
Mhm.
do with me. So then we get to California, and this is when I slowly was starting to be like, something is not right here.
Mhm.
So while he was off driving around with Shauna, I was in the U-Haul truck with Amber. And we stood in the U-Haul truck because I wasn't feeling good. I was feeling sick. My head was killing me, and I was trying to rest my eyes.
Mhm.
But when I woke back up, they still weren't back, and he had his other phone. And yes, I unlocked his phone, and I looked at it, and I went to look
Mhm.
through his phone, considering the fact that technically it is my phone because I'm the one that spent $500 on it.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I look through the messages and I see Shauna telling, "Oh, let's sleep in at the hospital tonight because I really don't like the area Amanda's parked at, which is the area she told me to park at."
Mhm.
And then I see a message from him saying, "I feel like restricting Amanda. She
Mhm.
always ruins fucking everything. I don't want her in my life fucking forever."
Oh, fuck. So I mean, so at this point, you're in California. Have you ever thought that, like, oh my god, I think I made a mistake. I think I just want to go out, get out of here, and go home to my family. Ever thought about that?
I I was thinking about it, but my mom was still very heated with the whole situation with Thomas shoving her and all of that.
Yeah. So at one point that you had to know that that you wanted to like get the fuck out of California. What was your breaking point of this whole poly relationship shit?
My breaking point was when Thomas and Shauna caused my daughter to end up in the hospital.
Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about some stuff about this. So in previous videos that you brought up your daughter, um, did she ever seem kind of weird to you at first, or did you ever had a feeling about, you know, that your partner had a feeling that your partner was sexual molesting your child?
I've had a strange feeling, to be honest, because I have noticed my daughter doing things out of the ordinary that a
Mhm.
typical child, even with her disabilities, wouldn't be
Mhm.
doing.
Yeah. So, what was the first single that you actually seen that made you have a suspicion of sexual assault or anything like that?
I would say when she started smacking my butt because she's never done that.
Mhm. Mhm. At this point, we're not going to get into what details are in here, but we're going to actually going to talk about what happened towards what your daughter was going through. So a few weeks passed through, as you said. What
Hmm.
else? What else have you been noticing about your daughter that was not in order that a kid's supposed to do?
She started making the yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've also noticed her putting hands in places it should not be at.
Mm-hmm. And see, and a child should never be doing that because that's not the proper way for a kid to do. And so y'all was still in California. So what else happened when you were in California?
So we ended up homeless There's just a part of it that I don't want to speak of for their own privacy. Jesse, you know who I'm talking
Mhm.
about.
Yes, I do. Hmm.
So we ended up homeless and we were staying in a park. And, you know, I'm kind of shocked that he was the one acting the way he was. You would think it'd be me acting that way because I've never been homeless before. Never.
Hmm.
I've always had a place to go. But he's the one that wanted to hold a knife to his throat. He tied a hoodie around his neck and was trying to hang himself.
Hmm.
And then, I took him down or whatnot. But then I wake up and he was just like not there. But then he's back. But then he leaves again. And then he comes
Hmm.
back.
And then at some point that like when you're in the park, that you ever thought like that you ever thought that in that point that you like saying enough of enough, I want to get the hell out of here, or have that that uh that time you were in California in the park. Did you really thought that you wanted to get home or go somewhere or do something about it?
Oh yeah. That morning I called my mom. I was hysterical. I was crying. I was upset in her. I was begging her to let me back home. Begging. And she was like, understand me? If he rides back with you, you're going to have to put him somewhere because I don't want him in my house.
Hmm.
So I was
Hmm.
like, that's perfectly fine. He's not going to be in the house at all because honestly, I'm done.
Yeah. So like
So,
like so the last time you actually talked to your formal husband, what would you say to him if you had the opportunity? Hold on, give me 1 minute. Hold on. Would you tell him at this point if you had the chance?
it, what would I say to him if I had that chance?
Yeah, right now, if you had that chance of telling him off or anything like that, what would you actually say to him?
Would say, how fucking dare you use the term poly as an excuse to cheat on me so you wouldn't get in trouble. The fact that you cheated on me throughout the entire I have screenshots and more screenshots were given to me. How dare you inappropriately allow your mistress to sexualize child and be running all these accounts, and definitely how dare you mock my miscarriage when you saw how low it made me.
And in all this time that you didn't know who it was, and but yet he was sitting under your nose all this time.
All this time mocking the death of my grandfather, mocking my miscarriage. He he turned everybody against each other. He caused me to lose my family. He caused me to lose my friends.
Oh, as you were saying, though, yeah, he
He's
showed you.
stolen everybody's pictures. He's stolen Mama Nene's picture and was trolling her. That's right, Brad. He also stole children's photos, mainly my daughter, and did nasty things edit wise towards her photos. I'm disgusted.
And not only that, he mocked you by what I mean by that. He mocked you, he manipulated you, and he controlled you for the time that you were with him.
He mentally abused me, he emotionally abused me, he gaslighted me, and he physically abused me. He's pushed me down to the ground. He's yanked my daughter hard on by her arm. He's also hit me to the point that I
And
had
not only
bruises.
that, he stole my wife. Shauna stole my wife's uh, pictures and videos,
Hmm.
and mocking Spooky on her lazy eye.
Like she can't control that she has a lazy eye. Truth be told, I'm a lazy eye too.
Exactly, and I want to throw this out there. He lies about having diabetes, right?
Hmm.
Tell them about that, sis. Go ahead.
So he claimed that he's a diabetic. Well, I'm pre-diabetic, and yes, I should be taking my metformin after I eat a heavy meal, but because he doesn't have medical, I gave him my metformin because he said he was diabetic. But as a diabetic, a doctor will tell you anything. What is good for you to eat as a diabetic and what is not. He eats all the stuff that is not meant for diabetics to eat. And he doesn't take the metformin like he's supposed to.
So, what does that tell you? What did that tell you? He was not diabetic. Chris, Jexy, Jexy, she freaking is a diabetic, and she has to get metformin and all that stuff. But the thing is, you do not lie about having diabetes or fucking, lying about that shit because that's gonna bite you in the ass.
And it also screws me up because I am pre-diabetic and I have to wait for my Medicaid to get approved so I could get back on it.
Yeah.
So I haven't really been eating much. I've been eating tinier portions because I don't want it to go full blown.
We don't lie about
The
having
doc-
any kind of life threatening illness.
Nope. Because my grandmother and my grandfather, they're sick, and my grandmother was fighting cancer, and not only that, it's not easy fighting cancer. Once you have it, you can actually easily get it again.
yeah. And another thing, like I know my mom and Thomas never got along, and I should have listened to my mom because mothers know best, no matter how annoying and parents can get, because we all have parents, we all have our own issues with our own parents or whatnot. But my mom means well. The fact that my mom was dying, he really was not supportive about it. It was almost as if he wanted her to die.
And that's kind of that was kind of fucked up because honestly, me and Jexy, we always ask you about your mom. We always ask you about your mom, and that's one thing
Mhm.
we care about. There's a few things that are off limits between me and Jexy: children, women who are pregnant with children, and moms who are sick.
Yep, like he came to the hospital once and he wasn't really wanna, see how she's doing or
Hmm.
whatnot. I'm the one that mostly went to the hospital. I would be bringing my mom chocolates that she was giving as thank yous to the nurses. I
Hmm.
would bring her anything that she's asking for. Like I'm wasting my gas going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. There was time that she forgot to say bring it in the morning, but I left and it was like the middle of the night and I truly got out of my bed. I packed up the car and I went right back to the hospital so that way she could have that stuff. And not once did he bother to text saying how's mom doing. No, it's are you on your way back yet?
And you see, and that's one thing that some people who are married and that you're supposed to check up on your in-laws even though you don't like them or don't even agree with what they're saying or doing. You always have to care for them no matter what.
Mhm.
Christina, she's having a little fun with her in-laws, but she's trying to work around them, you know but it's just you just don't want your in-laws to die from anything, and that's one thing that supposedly he's supposed to know, but I guess he's a heartless asshole, a very heartless asshole.
Yep.
And is there another thing that you want to throw out there, or anything like that, sis? Before anything,
I'm going to kill them.
Well,
say anything you want.
honestly, to anybody that is watching this, if you ever come across Thomas William Edwards research with the alias
Wait,
of
I'm just like that's
Playboy,
such a joke. That was a joke.
who just avoid him at all costs. He's a liar. He's a narcissist. He's a cheater. He's a manipulator. He is not good. He's bad news.
Very bad news. And see, the thing is, we want people like that off this app, off any kind of social media platform. And not only that, you guys that who should know Amanda right now, they know the only person who's bad news is you. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, the only thing that really pisses me off about your ex, that he thinks that he's looking good and with that beard and stuff and with that hairstyle. He
He
looks
looks
like a
like a
fucking,
hobo.
yeah, he looks like a hobo.
And
At
like
least.
he honestly thinks by him
I
dyeing
want
his
that.
ugly ass beard black, it's gonna keep
Thank you,
No,
people
baby.
from finding him.
I got rid of it.
Thank you. You were saying, sis?
I'm, what I was saying that he thinks he's so clever because he dyed his beard black that no one's gonna find him. Like, bro, you're not hard to miss.
Hmm.
It is a quarter to 10. Why is she so dressed? Unshowered. Hold on. Unsheet.
Mhm.
TV on, light on. Little one just got in trouble by the grandma.
Uh oh. And you see, and the thing is, and that's another thing. We have to talk about this though, about the sexual assault, the child molesting, and everything. And I know you don't like to talk about this, but we're gonna have to talk about this, and this is a subject that needs to be talked about and has to be talked about. So I want you to start off from that.
Um, oh, they like to project, lie, saying that another person, I'm not gonna say his name for his own protection. He was accused of being a pedo, but it turns out that was a lie. He's not. He's an excellent father. And no legal system is going to allow him sole full custody of children if he really was a pedo.
Mm-hmm.
And hmm, what else? It's just that my daughter was just acting with all the strangeness, acting strange, and then I decided that I was going to record. I put my phone down because I don't want her on camera for her own protection. The same way I'm not saying her name. Literally, I asked I asked her a couple of questions and she honestly told me what happened and I honestly thought I was gonna vomit.
Mm-hmm. Now, I know that we're not gonna bring her name up or anything like that, but would you want her to talk about it, or do you want to talk it for her for her protection? Would you like to talk about it for her?
I will, because she's getting ready for bed herself, and I would prefer to do it.
Go ahead, sis. Talk your mind out.
She's told me that Shauna and Thomas not only was bullying her, they hit her. Then when I wasn't around because I went to the store, they touched, well, Shauna touched her there and then down there.
Mm-mm.
And that's what she told me. And I did wait a couple of hours and I re asked the same questions again, and it was the same thing. And that's how I know she's not lying.
What child in their right mind will actually lie about something like this? And for them to play the innocent card is not right. It is not right at all.
It's not right at all. Like, everything's going to be finalized on Monday. It needs to hurry up because they truly made this whole process a living nightmare. They had CPS at my house, which case closed, whatever. Yay.
Hmm.
Um, the lies. I find it hysterical that they're telling me to stand down, cease and desist, but they're still posting videos nonstop, left, right, over again. Even though I've told them to leave me alone, they're continuing on. And I don't think Shauna understands the meaning of a cease and desist because that means both sides needs to stop. I don't talk about it or post anything, and the same with her and him. But they're still posting, they're still going on. So by them doing that, it nullified the cease and desist.
And then they're poking the bear where the hornet's nest is, and that is one thing that they don't understand, that they keep on going and going and going and going and going, but yet you're the one who's not doing anything about it. And they had to came up to this point that I had to step up and make this shit public.
Yep. And the simple fact of the matter is the nonstop stalking, the nonstop making 20 million accounts, even though it is against community guidelines and whatnot. The simple fact of the matter is I am getting sick and tired of them harassing me when I told them to leave me alone. And now it's like they're trying to make it to where I can't post anything at all as if they own TikTok, but they don't. Another thing issue I had a humongous issue with them is the fact that they kept putting everybody in jump chats to attack them. When I questioned Thomas about it, he claimed, "Oh, it's to get back at people that wronged us." It's like, no, it's because you're bored and miserable and have nothing else better to do with your own life and wanting to attack people along with Shauna. And there's times that Shauna was like, "Oh, I am so bored. I need a jump chat." Like,
Hmm.
really?
And see, when you were in me, when me and you were not talking, and they almost put me inside a jump chat with them,
Mm-hmm.
and I did not fall for that crap because I don't have no time for that bullshit. I'm over here minding my business, and all because me and you did a role play.
Yeah, a role play
Role
that
play.
meant nothing, considering that I have 20 million screenshots of his infidelity.
But yet, he wants to accuse you of fucking cheating and everything else. That the one that who's actually sleeping with a woman that he barely knew, and he fucked her up and got her pregnant, supposedly pregnant.
I don't think she's pregnant, and if she is, it's not Thomas's because the dates don't match up. And not for nothing, I know it's a very rare case for women to have their period while pregnant. It's a very rare case, but you never see that often. She still gets her monthly, and for 2 months straight, she kept saying that she is having a miscarriage. I'm sorry, but a miscarriage does not last 2 months.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
It happens
And
fast.
when a miscarriage happens, and this is gonna be very, very violent, this is gonna be very, 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 very bad right here. I'm gonna say, once a miscarriage is happening, you just don't. It doesn't just take 2 months. It takes like 45 minutes to get into the hospital to get the rest of the stuff out, and it doesn't last just 2 months. It lasts the rest of your life because you know that if you're gonna have a miscarriage from that one person, um, why keep going? Why pursue the relationship if you know you're not gonna be happy in it?
Hmm. And there's been multiple times that Shauna told me in confidence that she was thinking of breaking it off with Thomas and just going back home.
And you see, and some people do not understand. You know, half of the time that when you're married to the person and when you marry a person, you do not marry them just to marry them just to get something out of it. You marry them to be with them for the rest of your life and to be happy with them. And no matter what anybody says, you should stick to that person through thick and thin.
Like it's like what the vow saying, you know, sickness and in health and sickness better for worse.
Exactly. I see, and the thing is, me and Jaxie, yeah, we had our falling out, but I would not recommend me and her to have a fucking poly relationship because I already know that if we had that fucking poly relationship, we will not be here at this minute because this fucking thing is like it's just pointless. You know why have a poly relationship if you can have just one person in your life?
Yep.
And everything else. But it's just not. It just doesn't add up on this fat this fat bitch is getting away with bloody murder, and you can't do shit about it.
You just can't like, and it really honestly it kills me. And then the fact that they make videos about him saying, "Oh, I don't know why you are taking so many pregnancy tests. I never came in you." Blah 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 blah. Like, bruh,
Hmm.
obviously there's something definitely wrong with your sperm counts, seeing as I had two miscarriages and Shauna apparently is having a 2 month long miscarriage.
Hmm.
Um, Another thing is I knew he wasn't coming because and that night I completely faked it all because he's a dummy. I heard their phone conversation. I heard her saying just fake it. Just get it over with. Fake it.
Well, okay. So you want to explain on what they say in that conversation in total?
Pretty much fake coming, fake wanting to try having a child. Honestly, at this point, I'm glad I don't have kids with him.
But you know what? I'm gonna say this for everybody that we know in the group chat and everything. You know, I love you, sis, and you know that my questions are going to be harsh, and you know that I get down and dirty to them. You know, and you know that the questions that I ask is very, 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 very hard, and I love you to death. But I have to ask this major, major, major question: if he came back crawling to you, would you ever had that destiny of taking him back?
The only place I would be taking him is to the ice office.
So at this point, now that you're back home, and then what, what now besides having Juan or this person's name, whatever his name is, I don't know his name. I don't know his name.
Juan.
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 Well, Juan in your life. Um. Uh. I don't know. Did you learn your lesson the first time?
I mean, like, okay, so I need to ask this question, and I want you to be totally honest with me. After you got pushed away from everybody, what were you thinking that what Thomas was doing? And he succeeded, but what were you thinking?
Honestly, my mind was scattered brain. It was going in every single different direction. It felt it felt like I was trapped in my own body screaming for help
Hmm.
until finally I don't know what flipped the switch completely, but it got to the point that I wanted to come home because I've had enough.
Yeah. Okay, so this is gonna be one hard question to answer and to ask, but I'm gonna have to ask it anyway. So trigger warning about this. How does it feel knowing that as a mother and as a mother of a child that who's got autism and stuff like this, how does it feel to know that your child was a victim of abuse and sexual abuse? And what would you say to the parents that are out there looking at this video at this live right now? What would you say to them?
No words can explain how angry I am at the fact that that happened to my child. Like, no words. I am beyond angry. I'm upset. I cry about it because that's my baby.
Hmm. Hmm.
But for parents out there, look out for the warning signs. Check them carefully and, you know, question them, ask them questions. Like if you see them doing something they don't do, ask them what are you doing and listen to them because sometimes they're scared to talk about it because they're traumatized.
Now we're about to wrap up here in a few minutes or so. Um, can we get a recap of what's going on? Current point of living place. Well, you can watch the replay, man. That's much easier. Huh. Like, manual. That's my own way
No,
manual.
the other one.
Which one? I don't even know. Oh, I think I know who it is. I'm just not gonna say it. Miss you too. Okay, so you've been through a lot of shit in your past, and you've been through it with Thomas. How many times in your lifetime have you been slapped or abused or anything like that in your life? How many times have you been through this with people?
Minus my mom because she is my mom.
Of
She
course.
does take corporal punishment a little too far, but nevertheless, that's my mom. He is my second guy because my other ex, I also was in a domestic violence
Oh my
situation.
God.
And I
Fuck
feel
off!
That's the person that keeps on coming in here. But um, the first relationship that you had, thank you, sis. The
hmm
first relationship that you had, like, what what was going, like, what happened from point A to point B? How did it all started out, and what got you out of that situation
from the first time,
from the first time? Yes, ma'am.
the warning signs were isolation. I was very much isolated. The ex didn't want me to have friends, didn't want me to be in contact with any of my family. What caused me to say I had enough was when he put me in the hospital.
Oh man. So it was a point that in your lifetime that you wanted to run away and just don't look back, right?
And I'm back at the same thing. It's like a cycle, and I hope that this time that cycle is broken completely. Cause honestly, I'm a bit nervous about this one.
Just keep an eye on this one though. But okay, but back to the story at hand right now. Um, did you ever in your lifetime that you know by the time you were how old were you when you first had your first relationship?
17.
Okay. When you were a teenager, did you ever figure out that oh, I'm gonna be okay, I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna be fine, or did you ever figure out that you're gonna be in an abusive relationship with your ex?
As a teenager, I had no idea I was ever going to end up in an abuse situation. I thought I would have been okay. Everything would be fine.
Hmm. I know it's hard for you to talk about this, and I know you want to cry, but sometimes it's best to talk about things than hearing than doing all this and not hearing nobody out.
I know, and I appreciate you hearing me out because right now my ex is currently slandering me all over social media.
Well, that's why we're on here on YouTube and not on TikTok because we can talk about this kind of shit on here. So now we're gonna start wrapping up here, though. Do you have any? You are, aren't you?
No.
Hold on, where you at, baby? There you are. I thought you were
No.
there. There you go, baby. Um, you have any final words for the viewers and for the people that who joined the live stream? Um, sorry, babe. Do you have any last words that you want to say?
Stop.
Do you have any last words to say about anything about sexual abuse to a child, or anything like that? Since I got you on here.
Well, I've already covered the sexual abuse towards a child, but I'm gonna say this in regards to domestic violence victims because I am one survivor of now two. But I know it seems that it's hard to get out and you're afraid to be alone, but your life is more valuable. So get out. If you're in a domestic situation, grab your stuff, go, get out because you don't know what the next day would bring. And if I would have stood, I probably would have been dead.
Yep.
Hold on, I gotta put this in. Hold on.
Hold on. Before
Hold
you
on.
go, your sister wants to say something real quick.
13. Hold on.
What you wrote? Like Tina Turner said, what a love's got to do with it. Question: is the person on the right from New York or Chicago? Like, she's from New York.
New York, New York. I'm glad I still have my accent.
Well, Amanda, I'm gonna go ahead and bring in Mama Nene, but I'm gonna have to end it with you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being my guest. I'll see you in the chat. Mama Nene, you're up next, Mama. All right. Well, I'm gonna end this one. I'm gonna end this at the note. If you guys are dealing with domestic violence, you guys need therapy or anything like that, please find help. Please find the help you need. This is Jay, and thank you for showing up in my life today, guys. I'm out.